next few videos I'm going to be talking about polyrhythms and how you can sort of apply them to the kit. I'm going to talk about 2 against 3, 3 against 4 and 4 against 5. So in this video here we're going to be playing 2 against 3. So the polyrhythms that I'm talking about here is just single rhythms on each side. So I'm not going to play like a group of 3 or 4 on one side with a simultaneous rhythm on the other one. They're going to be single notes. So basically one side's going to be playing repeated single notes while the other side is playing singles as well, but it's going to be a different speed. So polyrhythms are basically 2 simultaneous rhythms. So like I said, they can be groups of 2 repeated or groups of 1. So the 2 against 3, when you apply it to the drum kit, you want to sort of make it a bit more musical. So the way to make something that you've practiced musical on the kit is to put it in a musical context. And for the kit would be to play it in a groove or a feel or something. So when you're sort of adopting these polyrhythms in the kit, instead of thinking of playing something 2 against 3, try and think of it as a number over something else, because we're going to want to play one of the polyrhythms as a groove, and it's going to be on the top or over, another phrase on the kick or something else we want to play. The first example of this 2 against 3 polyrhythm we're going to be playing, it's going to be 3 over 2, okay? So there's a bit of a formula to sort of work out how to play these polyrhythms as well, and it's really quite simple. So the 2 against 3, we're going to be playing it as a 3 over 2, and the 3 part, you just start with 3/4 notes, okay? So basically it's going to be a 3/4 bar. The second step is to subdivide those 3 notes by 2, because that's going to be the bottom part, okay? So this is going to sound like this. Okay, what we need to do then is to play every 3rd subdivision, and this is where we're going to get the second part of the polyrhythm, okay? And this is going to look and sound like this. Okay, and the way that's written now, this is the 3 over 2 polyrhythm. Okay, so now we need to make that polyrhythm a bit more musical. So let's throw in a groove. So we're going to keep the same polyrhythm happening on the kick drum, the same group of 3 on the on the china. We're going to add a backbeat on the snare now. So this is going to create that sort of, bit of a groove. So this first example sounds like this. Okay, the next part of this, adopting this polyrhythm, is to play the second polyrhythm part on the china as well. So we're going to keep the same 3/4 groove going, but now we're going to play that china part with the 2 part of the polyrhythm, and this is going to sound like this. Okay, so this is where it's going to start becoming a bit fun. So what we're going to do now is we're going to throw the whole sort of pulse, which is that 3/4, and move it to the other polyrhythm, which is that 2 feel. So basically, we're going to keep that china and that kick drum in the same place as we did just then, but we're going to move the backbeat now. So this is going to affect the groove, and it's going to change we're going to sort of adopt that groove into the second polyrhythm. Okay, so this is going to sound like this. And the last thing that we can do to that is to move the backbeat back a little bit further so it changes it to a half-time groove. And the last one sounds like this. So what I'll do now is play through those 4 exercises that I just went through after one another, so you can sort of see where that polyrhythm feel sort of comes in, and then we can change that groove there. So I'll run through them all twice, and then I'll go back to the start again and run through it all once so you can hear it at 120 beats per minute. Okay, I'll just do all that again, but we'll do it at 200 beats per minute so you can see how it sounds up to speed. Okay, so now we're going to play the same 2 against 3 polyrhythm, but instead of playing it 3/2 like we just did then, we're going to play 2/3. Okay, so the same rules apply in working out how to play this 2/3, 3 against 2 sort of polyrhythm. Okay, so this time, because it's 2/3, we're going to start with 2 quarter notes. Okay, and then we're going to subdivide those 2 quarter notes by 3, and that's going to sound like this. And then what we have to do then is play every second subdivision. And this is where we're going to get the 3 on the bottom underneath the 2. So that is going to sound like this. And the way it's written is like this. Okay, so we're going to do the same steps as we did before. We're going to play the same, 2/3 polyrhythm, but we're going to play it with a backbeat to make it a bit more musical and add that feel. So, number 1 at 110 sounds like this. Okay, and then what we want to do is, sort of stab at those chinas with that kick, but keep that backbeat there. Number 2 sounds like this. And now this is where we move the groove. Okay, so we're going to move the backbeat, which is that snare, to every second polyrhythm that we were playing on the kick and china. So this again affects the groove, and then we're going to play that with the snare on every second, and then we're going to move that to more of a backbeat sort of sounding groove and play the last example. So this first example here sounds like this. And into the last one. Okay, so all of that makes more sense when I play them one after each other. So I'll do the same thing as before. I'll run through those 4 different styles of that polyrhythm within those grooves. Go through them all again, and then I'll go back to the start and run through them again so you can hear them. Sounds like this.